holding hands on campus and no dancing. I just hate having fun.
Quickest you've seen somebody get engaged on campus?
4 months.
Guys and girls can't be in each other's dorms.
We can't even be in the same hallway.
Liberty University is suing former President Jerry Falwell Jr.
facing a $14 million fine for multiple violations of the Clery Act.
When you see Liberty University mentioned on the news or on social media, it's more often than not with a negative connotation attached to it, with videos about Liberty generating comments like, "So it's basically a prison disguised as a college. Literally nobody outside Liberty takes the university seriously. And Liberty isn't a college, it's a conservative cult." And with rules like having a curfew, having a dress code to go to class, where guys aren't allowed to wear shorts, for example, no profanity, and no alcohol on campus even when you're above 21, you maybe start to see where some of those come from. And all of that is not to mention the obvious scandals that have plagued the university in the past, like that of their former president, Jerry Falwell Jr., that led to his resignation. But despite all that, thousands of students still apply and go to Liberty every single year, and in a ton of videos that I've seen by creators that actually go to Liberty, most of them say they actually really love and enjoy it.
But we love our school.
I personally loved most of it and had a great first year of college.
We like Liberty.
I'll put it in the video.
Go Flames!
And so with all of these conflicting opinions, I was determined to find out the full story the only way I know how, which is to actually go there. Not only was I just going to walk around campus on my own, I decided to actually take a university guided tour of Liberty that they give to prospective students and really see how they pitch themselves with all of this noise in the background. And on top of that, I got to talk to a couple of students as well. As I walk up to sign in for my tour, kind of realizing I hope it's a biggish crowd and I can just kind of fall in at the back, because if it's a smaller crowd and they ask what I'm doing here, I don't know what to say. I mean, I feel like I could pass for 4 years younger and say I'm a prospective student or something, but that wouldn't exactly light up. I could be honest and say what I'm doing, but I hope that doesn't make them suspicious or anything, so we'll see. We're just gonna hope they don't say anything. And spoiler alert, that did not last very long. I was actually asked why I was there later on, and I'll tell you what I said when we get there. I picked up my little lanyard. I got my little name tag thing and the visitor's guide. I feel like I'm a senior in high school again. This is so funny. Waited for everyone else on the tour to show up. I think it ended up being about 15 people. And then we were all led into a room where they gave a quick presentation and played a couple-minute video. And most universities will do something like this to just go over all the basic information and make you excited to see campus. But this video wasn't your typical university hype video. This one was very centric on one thing: Convocation. Convocation is basically a bi-weekly gathering of all the students in Liberty into their one arena where they have a bunch of different guest speakers come in. Sometimes they have some famous Christian bands come and play a few songs, and sometimes these speakers are just like preachers. But the way it was said was this isn't just like going to church, like this is an actual substantive discussion about something that happens twice every week. And according to themselves on the website, it is North America's largest gathering of Christian students. And there were a lot of speakers featured in this video, some that you may expect like Donald Trump, Mike Pence, Ron DeSantis, but some that caught me a little off guard, like James Brown from NFL and CBS, and Bernie Sanders, who I later found out came in 2015. So that was really interesting, and we actually go to the site where they have the convocation later in the tour, but then they played another quick video that did actually go over some of the highlights of campus and their athletic teams and student experience at games and stuff like that, which was, you know, pretty cool. Like, Liberty's not a bad athletic school. And then we stepped out and begun on the actual tour. And the first stop was the dorms in the middle of campus that a lot of first years and second years stay at. You are allowed to move off campus later, and there are also a bunch of other on-campus housing options, and they all have their own set of rules that come with them, but these dorms were cramped. Like, I thought my freshman year dorm at UNC was small, and that room was probably bigger than the size of this one, and it only fit 2 of us. For these, this was 3 people to a room, which is kind of crazy. And Greek life isn't really a thing at Liberty, but I've heard the dorms kind of come closest to matching that. Like, each dorm is its own full community, and then each hall of each dorm has its own resident advisor and resident shepherd. If you've gone to college, you obviously know what an RA is, but at Liberty, it's kind of taken to the next level. RAs at Liberty are responsible for dorm checks and to make sure you're there during curfew time. Curfew at Liberty is midnight on weekdays and 12:30 a.m. on weekends. And yeah, this is one of the rules I've seen talked about the most, because practically no other university has anything like that. And it's relatively enforced too. Like in the tour, they said if you come past curfew a few times, it's not a big deal. But the fact that someone is physically coming to check if you're there, they call it a security measure.
If a parent calls because they can't get in contact with their kid, they'll be able to call Liberty. Liberty will go to their hall and be like, have you seen this person? They'll be able to say, yes, I saw them last night. So it's just another security check that we have.
But still, pretty crazy. And then the other part of it is cleanliness check.
It's just kind of making sure your room is livable, there's no weird smells, you can see your floor. Depending on your RA, if your bed's made, your kitchen's clean, your bathroom's clean, stuff like that.
And he was talking about how that helps reduce roommate conflicts and all that. But again, just the fact that it exists, never seen that before. And then the other ones, resident shepherds, are their quote-unquote spiritual leaders of the hall, and they're just kind of a resource if you ever want to talk about like your life or the Bible or get guidance, and they like help set up activities for the hall to do and stuff like that. So yeah, not your average dorm life. And then we went into DeMoss, which is one of their main academic buildings that also kind of acts as their student center, and it was honestly really nice. Like, it was huge, had a lot of modern spaces to do work in, had a lot of students walking around, a few places to grab food, and yeah, overall compared to a lot of these student centers that I've seen, this one's close to the top, honestly. So super nice building, and this also translated into the library that we got to see later. Again, it was like 4 floors, seemed really nice, had a lot of study rooms, cool spaces, and their main dining hall on campus was massive, had actually so many different food options. I was just getting tempted as we were just walking around it, and again, it was just really new, so they definitely don't mess around with some of their buildings. We also did get the chance to go to the bottom of the Freedom Tower, which is the tallest building in Lynchburg, as they kept saying, but it's basically a tall tower that is in the middle of Liberty's campus, which you can actually go up to the top, which I will do later on, and you'll see that. But on the bottom, they had this whole section about like the history of the Bible and like old scriptures and a bunch of preserved little artifacts and things. And honestly, like, none of that is too appealing for me, but for a lot of the families and prospective students that were on the tour, they were super engrossed by it, and they wanted to spend more time just like taking pictures of everything, looking around, and I find that really interesting. You don't really see that genuine interest a lot. And Liberty's campus itself is basically just this massive oval with a green area in the middle. And again, it was like really pretty with the little hills in the background, and it was a nice day, so there's a ton of people just on the green. And then we entered Vine Center, one of their arenas, and we walked in. The volleyball team was having practice. We got to look around a little bit, and I was like, all right, this is pretty cool. It's nothing too crazy, but they got some jumbotrons, they got a good amount of seats. I assumed this is where Convocation was, but I was not correct, because right after that, they walked us through this set of double doors that led into this super dark area, and then all of a sudden, music just starts blasting, and I get a glimpse of this. Now this is a whole nother arena that is, I think, double the size of the one we were just in. It is basically like a professional venue, like big screens everywhere, crazy sound production, and the band that was practicing at the bottom was a Christian band that was performing at Convocation later that week. So that is where they actually hold it, and just seeing that was kind of wild, because for most universities, you preserve your like best of the best facilities arenas for basketball games or something like that. For here, the main purpose of that one building that I'm sure they poured a ton of money into was Convocation. And this is about the time where other people on the tour started asking in a friendly way, just like where it was coming from, what it was doing. And you know, I could have said I was applying to a master's here or pretended I was 18, but no. This dude asked me, who was like a rising senior in high school, and I just said the first thing that came to my mind, which was somehow that I played tennis and I was looking to transfer to Liberty because I wasn't getting playing time. Why did I think of that? I have no idea, because I have not played a competitive tennis game since the beginning of high school. But yeah, that's the lie I stuck with, so if anyone that was on the tour somehow finds this video, I'm sorry. I was actually just there to check it out, and if I actually said that, I'm sure it would have been fine, but like, I just didn't want to draw unnecessary attention. But then we actually got onto some buses, and they took us to some other spots on campus. Primarily, there are other housing arrangements that are on campus, some that are like hotel style, some that are apartment style. And again, these apartments, there's one that was like 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, and I assumed it would just be, you know, like your regular 3-bedroom apartment. But in each bedroom, there was 2 to 3 beds. So there was 7 people living in a 3-bedroom apartment, which, again, like after sophomore year, I couldn't imagine sharing a room, let alone with 2 others in a 7-person apartment. Like, no. But that's how a lot of it was arranged there. And everyone that lives in these also does have RAs and RSs and curfew and all of that enforced as well. He also touched on the policy for going off campus, which
we go somewhere for the night or for the weekend, we have to sign out, and like, does it have to get approved?
Yeah,
like,
it has to be approved. Also, when signing out, if you're staying off campus, you have to stay with a married couple.
In the form, you have to say like where you're going,
who you're staying with, the number of who you're staying with,
like all this stuff.
Has to be a married couple.
Which is, again, just kind of stuff that never happens anywhere else. And I think it's why a lot of students move off campus their junior and senior years. But yeah, just imagine not being able to go home for a weekend in freshman year without actually telling someone that you are and signing out. I couldn't do it, but maybe it's not as big of a deal as it sounds. And then the last stop was the gym on campus, which, sticking to the trend of super modern, nice buildings, this one was exactly that as well. So then we circled back. I said bye to everyone that I met on there, and they tried to get me to talk to an admissions counselor. I said, sorry, not interested. I'll figure it out myself. So they ended up just giving me this bag with a bunch of little like pamphlets and information about Liberty and the Liberty Way, which I said, okay, thank you, and went on my way to now go walk around myself. And my first stop was, of course, after this at every college I go to, I stopped at the football stadium, which was great that they left that wide open, and then I went back to campus. I just overheard a girl asking her friend, wait, so are you guys engaged yet? And she couldn't have been more than like 20, 21. So the stereotype here is ring before spring, which if you don't know means that everyone's trying to find like their husband or wife before the spring of senior year. And I think that's definitely true in a lot of cases. Definitely not everyone is trying to do that, let alone is successful with doing that. But compared to most schools, I think you'd see their ring before spring rate, for lack of a better term, probably one of the highest, if not the highest, relative with like BYU or something like that. All right, so what do I think about the culture here, the Liberty Way, the rules and everything? Well, honestly, if you dropped me in this campus without telling me where it was or what the premise of the school was, I don't think I would have instantly recognized that this is a Christian school with a lot of rules and regulations in place. I mean, you see people out playing games on the grass. You see a bunch of co-ed friend groups. You see guys messing around on a scooter. Little action shot. You see everyone going to the dining hall together, and it feels like a normal college campus should. In it, say hi. It would take me a while to pick up on the cues of people dressing slightly differently, a heavy lack of cursing here, things like that. I feel like I could eventually figure it out, but I think that's a testament to it being a bit overblown, how severe everything actually is here. There's a couple dudes that just came up to me and were talking to me about cameras and stuff like that, asked me for my name, major. It was just a good conversation, and it's not that like I was expecting to be fully discriminated against or people to be rude here. That's not the case at all. But I wasn't expecting this kind of like outwardly welcoming culture that I've kind of felt in the few hours that I'm here. And I think that's a pretty good representation of just like Southern culture in general. And yeah, it was nice to see. Now with all that being said though, do I think I could go to Liberty and enjoy going here? No, that's because the curfew is still a thing. Mandatory convocation twice a week is still a thing. Strict RA checks are a thing. No alcohol even until after you're 21 is still a thing. And despite a couple of people like on the tour and stuff telling me that I would still be fine here even though I wasn't Christian, I do think the religious influence that there is in kind of every aspect of going to school here would be a little bit of a deterrent. But I think if you really don't care about the other rules and regulations, or maybe on the flip side, if you like those rules and regulations, then some people might actually enjoy going here even if they aren't Christian as well. For me, a lot of those things do contribute to a proper college experience, especially in the US. But you can say hi.
Say hi to the vlog.
Say hi to the vlog.
Hi vlog. It's Naya. Hi vlog.
Oh my god, we
This
got
is
a
my
whole
friend
crowd
Glenn.
here.
What is this for? Yo, what's your YouTube channel, bro?
Shivency. I just go around a bunch of schools in the US and
Oh, dang.
kind of tour them.
Here, let me
and-
check
Where
it
are you
out.
from? What do you
North
thought?
Carolina.
Can I do a Naya takeover?
Oh,
For it.
Actually, no, never mind.
Wait, what are your thoughts about Liberty?
What's up, guys?
Much
Subscribe.
nicer than I expected.
Turn on
Yeah,
post
lights
notifications.
Oh my god. The
Follow him.
no, like, campus is beautiful.
Subscribe.
Let's go.
There's a lot to do. Have you
if y'all
checked
want to
out?
vouch for Liberty? And
Have you checked out this ski
Go for it.
place?
No.
Oh yeah, the
You
ski
should.
mountain.
You should.
Yeah, we have a whole
The
ski
followers
mountain.
up there.
Is it not just like closed right now?
They have artificial
There's
snow.
Oh, no way.
summer
Yeah.
skiing.
And we have horseback riding here too.
Yeah, meet the horse.
The meet and greet. And we have a block party on the 24th.
And we have a
Ooh.
cereal party right now.
Alright.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
I hope you like Liberty.
I'll put it in the video.
Go Flames! Woo!
Again, you see what I mean? Like, that was a totally normal social interaction. And I think people that say Liberty has a completely different social culture just straight up have not been here at all. But as I was saying, I don't think I would personally enjoy going here because of all the extra stipulations. And honestly, I don't think Liberty would be right for probably like 97, 98% of people that want to go to college. But for that 2% that do, Liberty can be a really good experience. You can meet a lot of like-minded people, be in an environment that fosters what you believe in, and still get a decent degree. Obviously, like I said earlier, 99% acceptance rate. Your degree is objectively not the best. But I think that acceptance rate is partially due to a lot of people not wanting to go to Liberty. So the ones that do will get in. Well, hello from the top of the tallest building in Lynchburg, Virginia. I think this is the perfect time to talk about the campus. Liberty's campus is very nice, and I would be remiss if I said anything otherwise. I mean, right now, just standing up here at Sunset, the surroundings and everything with the mountains just on one side, all the athletic facilities on the other side. It is beautiful looking out, and it is so cool that they just have this panoramic view open to anyone to just go up 17 floors on the elevator and see. And as me and maybe you just found out from that girl, I knew there was a ski mountain here, but I didn't know it was open throughout the summer as well. So, I mean, that is an activity to just do. I mean, if y'all know me, you know I'm pretty harsh when it comes to colleges that don't really have like a college town or like a main street or something. And that doesn't really exist here. Downtown Lynchburg is very small, and right across the street from campus is a Walmart. But when you have all of that to do, and you have like a bowling alley on campus and stuff like that, and when you're at Liberty, when like, you know, no one's really going to bars or anything like that, I think they could be an exception, because just being in class in like a September and then going to ski later that night, that's so cool. And so overall, I don't want this video to come off as a glorification of Liberty, because quite frankly, I don't think it deserves it. And I would never personally recommend anyone actually go to Liberty for their college experience. But with all of that being said, I would be lying if I said I wasn't at least a bit pleasantly surprised by my visit. The majority of interactions I had were super nice and respectful. I have no complaints about the campus itself, and yes, Liberty absolutely deserves some of the criticism that it gets, but I think the students that actually go there and enjoy it are more just misunderstood than quote-unquote being led into a cult. And you have to realize that a lot of them are actively choosing to have this type of college experience over the ones that most of us are used to. So yeah, that's my take, but obviously so much more can be unpacked. So let me know what you think of Liberty. Should it even exist in the first place? Should they be forced to lessen some of the restrictions? Or should they be allowed to do whatever they want because they are a private institution? Curious to hear your thoughts down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.